He's one of our favorites. He's Frank Caliendo, the comedian, actor, impressionist, and frankonstage.com. Learn more about Frank, upcoming live performances. He'll be in Connecticut, Boston, Wisconsin, outside of Madison, and joins us here. I always feel like when I'm reading something or delivering something that you're studying me to try to imitate me.
There is a little bit of that. You know who did that? We were talking off the air a little bit, partially off the air, about Letterman and Stephen Wright, the comedian.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, you're doing it right now. He looked at me like that and I didn't even know I was, but I was studying. Like there's certain things about you, and this isn't something we planned or anything like that, but you're very upper body oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a neck issue.
I did have a neck issue.
Okay, because there's this, and you don't always turn. So I see that.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah. Right. Hey.
In the words of the Charles Barkley, that's terrible. That's a really bad idea, Dan. Don't bring up a physical ailment possibility.
But you can't do my voice. You can just do my movements.
I've worked on the voice before and tried to get it, and I couldn't get it. There was a time, I don't know if you remember this. It was a while back, I think in New York, that you do this sometimes. You don't say Dan Patrick all the time. You say Dan Patrick. It's almost like its own word.
I'm Dan Patrick.
I'm Dan Patrick. You know, it's something like that happens sometimes. I was trying to latch on to, but I never got anywhere.
But see, I have a Midwest accent, and I don't know if that's harder to imitate.
Well, I grew up in Wisconsin.
But the people that you imitate have distinct accents.
Well, Barkley, like for example, Charles Barkley has all kinds of stuff. He's from the South, Philadelphia. He was out in Phoenix. So there's a mixture of a lot of different things going on there. Somebody like Gruden. I don't know. What is Gruden? I'll tell you what, man.
But Gruden's from the Midwest.
Yeah, right?
He went to Dayton,
Ohio.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that story before when I met him? I'm like, when I first met him, everybody wanted to see, was this going to go well, so if I could do it again, right? They're like, how's this going to happen?
So you're at the mothership and you meet Gruden.
And Schlereth is sitting there with a cup of coffee going, I wonder what's going to happen. So Gruden's like, so you're the guy who does me, huh? He's like, where are you from? I looked up where he was from. I'm like, Sandusky, Ohio. He's like, really? I'm like, no. He's like, good, because you were blowing my mind, man. The great thing is now that I've become kind of, I think we're friends. I don't know if he's mocking me or what, but I'll get texts from him at like 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, he's a really early morning riser.
5:30 is like lunchtime for him. So he's like, all right, look, the 10 hours of videotape, man. You're not going to believe what Jay Gruden's doing.
Paulie does. Could you judge Paulie's Gruden?
Yeah.
All right.
That guy's just playing football.
It sounds like Paulie.
Yeah, I know. But I'm doing it to you. No, but I don't have any of the mannerisms.
Yeah, the face cheats it a lot. If you can do something with the face, look in the eyes, that helps. Then you do. There are plenty of people that do better all-out impressions than I do. I've met some people recently. This guy, Piat Michael, Ross Marquand, among other people. Ross Marquand's on The Walking Dead. He does some of the most amazing, like, impressions I've ever heard. What I've done is I've kind of gotten bored with that, and these people are better than me, I think, to start with, anyways. But I got bored with that and started turning everybody into characters. That was when it became more fun to me. The Dana Carvey school of impressions, because doing the dead on impression, you go on YouTube, there are so many great impressions now, incredible, but they just do lines from movies, and there's nothing to go with it. If you watch a Carvey thing, Carvey would come up with a full-on character that you didn't even care. Phil Hartman, the same way. Phil Hartman sounded kind of like people, but you wanted the person he was doing the impression of to be more like Phil Hartman. You know what I mean? You wanted him to be that guy. So,
and people do make that mistake of, hey, listen to me, I'm going to recite a movie line.
Yeah, it's great. And sometimes you're amazed for a quick second, and then you're bored afterward. So it's like, that's what I tried to find. That's why Madden became the, I mean, it wasn't even, saying words weren't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Making weird, which I think didn't thrill him. But,
no, I can see where it wouldn't. No.
But it was that becoming of that kind of character. And Gruden's become, Gruden for me is more fun not talking, the awkward silence of,
just the look.
We still on TV right now? Yeah. You can tell. I asked him one time, I go, why do you look so mad? He was with Tarico at the time. Like, why do you look so mad? He's like, I want to talk football, man. I don't want to be on TV. But he's gotten, I talked to him about this too. I said, you've gotten really good in your commercials. Gruden he used to, that first Hooters commercial was like, go to Hooters. Get fries. It was like so just nothing there. Yeah. And now he's got a bunch of commercials. He's like, Gruden Hotline. And like there's a fun character to him, and he's having fun with that. He's Jon Gruden, and that's the key. And he's not to the point. This was another thing that he probably didn't care, but I was spouting it out because I believed it to be true. I said, you're not over the top being yourself. You're just being yourself, and that's enough. Don't try and be the caricature of you yet. That's further along, probably. A few years down the road. Just keep being that guy that is you, fixing a tire, and that's funny enough. You don't need to go over the top.
But you provide the caricature.
I do, because that becomes more fun for me, which is probably, he did text me, he goes, I just did a commercial where I did impersonation of you. I didn't ask him which I did. I was too scared to ask him what it was. I didn't know if he's doing me, puts a pillow in his belly or something. Hey, I'm Jon Gruden, a little chubbier version. It was like Chris Farley doing it, wasn't it? Hey, okie dokie.
No, that
very topical impressions today. I was watching the John C. McGinley thing, thinking I could do an Archie Bunker. Oh, geez. So, by the way, I got the greatest acting lesson in the world from John C. McGinley. Do you have to say the C? I don't even know.
It felt like that. There must be a John McGinley. And
oh my God, is he awesome? It was incredible. And he's just telling me these things, and I'm thinking, gosh, I kind of do a little bit of that, but that's why you're so good.
Wait, what was the lesson?
I don't want to give it out. That's free. No, maybe after the break, Seacrest style.
Can you do Seacrest?
No, I don't.
You don't care to?
No, I don't think I could pull it off.
But are you only interested in the people you're interested in, as opposed to somebody who's topical?
What was that, John Madden? Are you only interested in the people that you're interested in? You know what? I've actually lost a lot of I've been working on the acting side of stuff, and that's why watching somebody like him was so amazing to me, and watching him in movies, because I watch people and I go, they're so in the character that they're not they're themselves anymore. But then you see, and I'm talking to him, I see the little piece of him that's in there, and that's the thing that I've learned about acting, and the thing that I've tried to put in the impressions. But as far as the passion for the impressions, I've kind of lost it, because I feel like, where am I going to go with the next thing? And maybe it's just a part of getting older or something like that. But I'm at this feeling where I want to just, I've pigeonholed myself so much in that way. And don't
wait, you're getting deep here.
Yeah. I mean, but that's where it is. And I feel I'm just in such a weird place.
But are you at a crossroads here?
Yeah, totally.
Seriously.
Yeah, totally. Because I've always been the business part of show business. I've worried about, how can I make more money doing this? How can what will get me more Twitter followers? When I was on Twitter blazing, I was just saying mean thing after mean thing, and I was gaining 1,000 followers in a week and stuff like that. Then I realized, I'm just doing this all the time. That's all I do now, is I just try to look for angry things to say, and then I'm doing it in real life. So I'm walking down somewhere and I want to say something. I'm going, I'm just going to tweet at you vocally. This is awful. This is a terrible. So I got off it and got away from it.
Wait, but why are you angry?
I'm not. That was the thing. I wasn't angry. It was just because you would say these things, you tweet them out immediately. It would just get rid of that interaction between other people. And look, that's one thing you learn about in acting, is like listening to the other person, right? And paying attention and actively listening, and not just when you do a scene, you go off and when the other person's talking, it's so tempting to just be thinking, what's my next line? I got to make sure I get, then you're not in it at all. But if you're actually there with them and you're thinking the whole time, and he was talking about the word verbs, what are you doing? That was really the acting lesson. It on the broad strokes, it won't mean as much, but it really is. What are you doing the whole time? And it's not just, I'm trying to get you to do this. That's the weak way out. It's, what are you doing? And it was just the way he kept doing that with the eyes. It was almost Grudenish. I was like, I'll tell you what, man.
Do you want to retire?
No.
Stuff?
I like to do.
I mean, retire these impersonations.
No, because I still think enough people like it.
No, they do.
It's fun. I'll throw the Madden out there once in a while. And I heard you talking about this the other day too. And maybe even it was earlier today as well. I don't know. I'm one of those people who goes out there and tries to hit a lot of different audiences. I think people like Bill Maher, brilliant, but very polarizing in
Yeah.
terms of the kind. I watch him and go, that's an unbelievably quick line. How did you come up with that fast? And you definitely have a point of view on it. For me, it doesn't work that way because I got as many people for the left as the right that are in my audience. I don't want to take a side. I just don't. And that's not even really me. I like to listen to what everybody has to say and have the conversation. But I don't know what's okay anymore. I'm totally flustered. That's part of why I try to get out of comedy a little bit more.
But you can stay in your world. It's when if you did a Donald Trump impersonation, if you did,
that's not polarizing at all.
Yeah, of course not.
No, but but I try to think. Okay, so it's not even the impression because my impression is silly, right? My impression is silly, but then people will say, "Oh, you're not being mean enough with it. You've got to resist." And I'll get calls from friends in entertainment and go, "You got to go after." I'm like, but that's not me, and you'll make your own decision on that. It's like I thought about that. I get worried about all the time about what I'm going to get myself in trouble with. This is one of those times. So
wait, are you going to get in trouble right now?
Possibly.
Okay, let me take a break.
After the break?
Yeah, we're going to take a break.
Let's get in trouble after the break.
Frank's career is going to come to a crashing halt here and probably get a tweet from the president. Find out what he says next here on the Dan Patrick Show. Frank Caliendo joining us, and you tuned in at the right time because his career may come to a crashing end here.
It's happened a couple times already. I don't mind.
FrankOnStage.com to learn more about his upcoming tour stops. He'll be in Wisconsin, Boston, and Connecticut. So where did we leave off, Frank?
What was that tease? I was talking about.
Is this about President Trump?
Right, because I don't know where to go with the Trump stuff nowadays because I get it from all angles. I've always been silly. Alec Baldwin just won an Emmy and his is a very mean version. And I watched it at the beginning. I was like, gosh, I don't know. I could never be that. But that's what people. I think that's part of the Twitter world. Like when somebody out there like Trump. He goes and he's always kind of trolling people. He is. Whether I don't care where you're on the political spectrum, that's just what he does, right? But I thought this is terrible. This is really bad. But all he really had to do with this national anthem stuff, and I want to say this: that I understand all these different sides. I get it. See how much I'm capitulating?
Yeah.
But
come on, Fritzy, get to the point.
But all he really had to say is, I want everybody to take a knee during the national anthem or sit. And then everybody's going to be standing, right? Immediately, everybody's going to be doing the opposite of Trump. But then he wins either way. But if he'd have come with that troll, everybody should sit. That's what I want. I want sitting, kneeling. And then you'd be like, oh, no, what do we do now?
But do people, okay, so you get the left that wants you to pile on, or
yeah, I think so. And then, but I don't even know exactly who's. I talk about this with my friend. We do a podcast sometimes together, John Holmberg, and we talk about this constantly. I don't think anybody voted for Donald Trump to think that he was going to be this suave, cool. They were again looking for more change. Whether they got the change they were looking for or not is your own decision. But it was that weird. It was that thing where people were looking for change, but he just when he's out there, it's always something. I just wanted to go, just stop for a little bit. Relax. It will be easier.
But it feels like the people made a name for themselves impersonating a president.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so
But there's so many people doing Trump right now, and the internet gives you so many different ways to do it. When George W. Bush, who was very simple to do, I think as well, the internet wasn't what it is now. There would have been thousands of people, but it was really Will Ferrell first with the college kind of guy, he was always
confused.
The frat boy. Yeah. It's like, I guess we're going to go out there and get him, And I took him as like a little kid, just confused, just trying to get there. So there were different versions, but it's the same guy, and you see different.
You have some Gruden and George
they all start
Bush.
to meld. It's Rich Little, man.
Yeah.
They all start to become the same guy after a while. I'll tell you what, man, my fellow Americans.
Did you ever meet President Bush? Did you meet him?
No, I was supposed to do. I did an event. Dick Cheney sitting right next to me, and it was right after he shot the guy. It made him laugh. Oh yeah, I'm doing this. And it's like gobble gobble. It's like, thought he had a heart attack right there. So,
did you do the Bush impersonation to Dick Cheney?
Yeah, I did it right there. It was a congressional correspondence dinner.
Oh, okay.
I was doing the whole thing.
Now, did he think it was funny?
I couldn't tell. It was hard. I didn't know.
Because I don't know if they think it's funny or if they're allowed to think it's funny.
Yeah, a lot of times people are careful. That's another thing. You're doing those events. People don't know if they're supposed to laugh or if it's okay. Like you're doing. I do a lot of corporate shows.
Yeah.
Everybody looks to the boss to see if,
It's okay.
like in here, they say, "Is that okay to laugh?" So they don't know, and then they look around and like, okay, so that's politics right there. So you're at doing like an event similar to that, the Congressional Correspondents' Dinner. Somebody does a harsh joke. You think it's funny. You get caught laughing. All of a sudden, it's on TV, used in a commercial against you.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You get cameras are. Bradshaw said that to me once. Terry Bradshaw, good friend of mine. Terry Bradshaw.
Does he not like you?
Oh no, he's fine.
Oh,
He's
okay.
good. Yeah, I see
He
him.
just didn't like when you made fun
I
of
see him at least once a decade, and so
Frank Caliendo.
there it is. He's like, cameras everywhere, Frank. Cameras everywhere. I'm recording you right now. What?
Have you heard Paulie's Andrew Luck?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. The Stanford Cardinal looking pretty good this year. Hopefully get back
See, again,
to
it's
shoulder.
funny. It's funny. It's not really dead on.
I have no. I can't do the face. I could just do the.
Yeah, I always say he looks like a cartoon version of Wolverine from the X-Men.
Big
Like
fan
he
of
looks kind of scary, but also a stuffed animal at the same time.
Big fan of comic books my whole life.
But he's very close to Madden. That's the problem. He talks in here, and his teeth match up perfectly. So it's that difficult thing, and for me, it always turns into Madden. That was the same problem I had with Bill Walton. When I first started Bill Walton, the Madden is here, and then Bill Walton is, I remember being at Berkeley. How great is that? The existentialism. It could be a way. You look.
But have you ever tried to do LeBron?
No, and the younger guys are always harder to do, I think, because they're not characters yet. The athletes become when they get into like color analysis and stuff like that. Then you hear that's the easy thing for me.
Oh,
with
okay.
All the,
So you hear something different when you're hearing Vital.
Pacino at 25 is different than Pacino now. He used to be that guy way up. Why are these dogs surrounding me? Because your voice is so high, and now. And now it's that, whoa, he suddenly became Southern, right? Now, I have no idea how we even got here. So it's those.
But did De Niro change at all?
A little bit.
Oh, no, there you go. Back to Gruden.
Yeah, everybody's Gruden.
Gruden, De Niro, and George W.
Yeah, everybody becomes. You see that part of it. Was the part of the thing I was talking about with John C. McGinley there, was that you have that intensity, and you find that part and what they're doing. And De Niro, I think, is pushing you in a lot of ways. He's just become that character, and he's always doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get somewhere. We're going to make this go longer.
How about Jerry Jones?
He
feels like he could be in your wheelhouse.
Yes, and there's. I do kind of cartoony version of him. He is the master manipulator in an interview. Like you'll start the interview, and it's like, what's wrong with the Cowboys? There's I believe that that we will have right now. Jason Garrett, if you ask me today, is our head coach, and if you ask me tomorrow, I will tell you today that Jason Garrett was our head coach. And by the end, you're going, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I didn't mean to interrupt you. And you see it in every interview. Somehow he changes it and turns it around.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy cow, that's brilliant how he does that.
I try to do the caricature of, because he'll give you that, Greg Hardy's a leader is what he is. He's a leader, and we need leaders on the Cowboys, because he'll say everybody's a leader.
Right.
Like he
finds a word
leader.
that he can stick on.
Yeah.
And he hits it over and over and over. Leader. And he separates the word leader into two syllables more than you normally say leader. And he's like, a leader.
He's Frank Caliendo. You can learn more about Frank. And boy, we learned an awful lot about Frank today.
Yeah, too much. I'm sorry.
Going serious on me.
Well, McGinley got me into this total mood.
Man.
I was like, geez, this is awesome. And I learned so much in such a short time. It's nothing like being on your show. See, that's the comedian trying to get away with something at the party.
I see.
Terrible.
You got him. You got him.
Every time I come on the show, it's going well, and I ruin it at the last
Yeah, you
line.
do. You do. That's Frank Caliendo.
Danny Bell,
Upcoming live performances.
Audience Network. He's watching right now. You're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Go to Frank's shows. Dan's trying to get a plug in. He's got a live read. Let him get it in.
Frank at Foxwoods in Connecticut, Boston, and Wisconsin. Whew. Frank, thanks for stopping in.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Always great to see you. We'll come back, close up shop, what we learned. Why don't you want to take it to break?
Yeah.
What do you want to take it to break,
We're
guys?
going to be a group of leaders.
I'll tell you what, man. After the break, we're going to wrap it up. Nice Christmas-like package, man.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.